Hey and welcome, Miss Kira Speaks. Please do your girl a huge favor and stick around to the end of the video. Hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. We're here for another episode of Snowfall, Season 6, Episode 4, Projects, Boy. So it looks like V's mom came through and she located Teddy's money guy. And he's working in some little seedy looking little strip mall. She takes him out to lunch while the secretary, she gets in that safe and she gets those papers. She heads out to the parking lot and she gets in the car and she meets with V and some guy named Neil who's mentioning the bureau, and he might just be acting, but your girl, she still got her good eye on V. They almost get caught when he gets back early. V, she is on her job. She runs interference. Meanwhile, the secretary is over there fumbling the keys once, twice, and somehow she manages to get back in the office and in her spot before he gets back in by the hair of her chinny chin chin. We get this information back to Franklin, and V and her mom are going over it. And at first, Franklin is excited until he realizes that after 3 weeks, they're back to square one and he starts to lose his shit. So what are you going to tell me next? Is the sun hot? Is water wet? Just totally unhinged. He's, raising his voice like Franklin do. He's knocking stuff over. Like I said, just totally unhinged. Cassandra, she's not with the shits, and she's reminding him that the game rewards those who keep their cool. So V's telling him that they do have a plan V, and suddenly her mom is feeling unmotivated, and Franklin, he's talking cash shit, being arrogant as hell, and V has to step in and basically tell him to cool his heels and get him off to the side from the mom so she can have him get his shit together. And this is a bad move on Franklin's part, because you don't mess with people who are in control of your money or your food. Just saying. Later on, we see Franklin. He's telling V that Kane isn't moving enough product to get his money quick enough. And she's telling him that they almost lost her mom and that she had to, reel her back in because he was just losing it. She says she needs her mom for this next step, that she can't do it without her. And Franklin, he wants to go with them. And she's like, yeah, it's a no, basically. And I'm thinking to myself, and I think I'll probably have it later in my notes also, V and that mama are going to steal Franklin's money. So we're in the PJs with Leon, and he runs into Einstein, who's not at school. He says he's going to take him to school, but you could just see Einstein he's lost it. He's unmotivated. Leon is not too happy when he sees that Big D has shot out the lights in the playground to handle his business. And then Leon talks to him about college. Then later on in the episode, we see Einstein. He was, counting the money. He takes the break. I think there's a college application laying around, and Big D comes in and wants to know why on God's green earth would you want to go to school for any longer than you have to. He tells him that he already knows more than the professors and that he's making more money doing what he's doing, so he offers him a little bonus. Leon then goes to D and confronts him about the lights, but he's not trying to hear any of that. And D, there's always room to grow and learn. There's always something to be learned. Higher education, I think, is important. And come on, let Einstein rock. Like Leon said, school ain't for everybody, but it's for sure is for Einstein. So they show us a quick scene with Ruben, and he's in the bed, and we find out that Ruben the Cuban has him a little boyfriend. And please, y'all, let's not get our panties in a bunch, because you know how y'all do when it comes to the LGBT. But I think that the reason they showed us this scene in particular is to show us that Ruben has some sort of vulnerability, like Teddy has Parissa, Ruben has this guy, and mark my words, something is going to happen to that boyfriend. So now while he's with the boyfriend, he gets a text, and he's got to make a phone call. And then we see him later, and he goes over to meet with his KGB people. He tells him that there's no survivors and that they took everything, which Ruben knew that they would. When we had this scene in another episode, like I said, I didn't get too deep into it, but Ruben already knew what was going to happen. He told him if he knew, then Teddy was going to know, and their cover was going to be blown. And it was. they're worried that Teddy's going to get spooked. And now Ruben wants to switch his focus from Franklin and Sissy to Gustavo because he says Gustavo is vulnerable and can get them the information they need. My question is, what does that mean for Sissy and Franklin? I already didn't trust Ruben, and I know that Ruben's going to screw them over, but if he doesn't really need them, I guess we'll find out later in the season. So Wanda, she's in the projects. Poor Wanda, should have been in Africa, and there's a poor girl that's passed out, probably high, and they're spray painting on her, and she's got to run them away, and Wanda is she's not doing too good. Later on, she goes to Sissy's place to pick up a couple of things. She didn't realize Sissy was still staying there. Sissy comes in and Wanda's there, and Sissy almost takes Wanda's head off. And my question is, why are they living in the PJs? Like, I know Leon has said he wants to be among his people, but it's too much. Wanda and Sissy are talking about being married, and Wanda's like, listen, marriage is wonderful, but living in the projects is not. It's hard. There's rock and drugs all around her. And, poor Wanda, she just doesn't know if she's going to make it. And we don't want our good girl Wanda to relapse. So, Leon, at least get your wife out the PJs, please. But judging by the end of the episode, that's not what's going to happen. So Sissy is giving Wanda a word in true mom form and saying that when Alton was, coming off the alcohol, that he had to keep busy, and she advises Wanda to do the same. So Wanda's going to be keeping herself busy by working at Alton's shelter. Because as we know, and Sissy tells Wanda, she's got a long road ahead of her. And I just pray for Wanda's continued sobriety. I'm so aggravated. Like, I know Leon is for the people, but like, why? And then you put it right back in the project. Let's move on. Franklin, he goes to visit Kane. And Kane, he's not looking good, although he is home. He's got like a hospital type of bed set up, and they said he was never supposed to walk again. So by those standards, I guess he's doing pretty well. Franklin is trying to break it to Kane that they're not moving enough product, and he feels that they're cooking too slow. His boy in the background does not appreciate none of it. He's like, you can do it yourself. And Franklin, he wants to go on over to the cookhouses and take a look and see what's going on for himself. Child, Kane laughs, and he is calling Franklin the CEO of the ROCK. I had to laugh. And Franklin, he gets an attitude in his suit, and he's about to walk out the door talking about he's building an empire. So Kane's like, okay, cool, fine. He sends his boy Ricky to take Franklin on over to the cookhouses. We get a scene with Teddy and Parissa, and Lord knows I don't want to see any more of Parissa, but he wants her to move in with him because she feels like he's not safe and she's in danger. She doesn't want to go. They talk back and forth, and the most significant thing I got from it is she said something about him having 70 mil versus 73. And I was kind of like, basically she's saying the money could go a long way. Let's just take the money and leave the country. He don't know. We don't care. Moving on. Franklin, he gets to the cookhouse, and it's a hot mess. It's people in there. He's throwing women out. The work area is not clean. And Franklin, he's not there to play. Franklin is trying to lay down the law about what needs to be done, and they're tight that he's there. And Ricky's like, listen, he's here. Kane sent him, so basically you got to listen to what he says. But dude, he says he doesn't care, even if his last name is Saint. And he's just running off at his mouth, and Franklin pops him real quick, puts his face on his stove. You want to cook? It was one of Franklin's best moments, if you ask me. You want to cook the child. So he's like, if y'all want to work, then work. If not, get off. So he throws everybody out, and everybody goes, and then only one person ends up coming back. So, dude's got heart. Todd, he runs over Kane and complains how he held it down when Kane was gone, and basically he doesn't appreciate the whole Franklin situation. Kane says he'll talk to him, but that is not what Todd wants to hear. Todd wants some action since he got his doggone face burned. Kane is basically telling him that he was there to help. You want to listen, or you want to go sit in the corner? So we go on over to the cookhouse and we see they got a new guy that used to work at a fast food joint, but he wants to make some money. He's there cooking, and Franklin, he comes over to lend a hand. And I like that Franklin is not ready to go back to basics, get in there, put that work in, get his hands dirty, all of that good stuff. Meanwhile, Todd, who's Kane's boy that got his face burned, he's going to pay Louie and Jerome a visit. He's ready to give up Kane's location and says that he's one of the people that Kane sent to shoot up their club. Louie and Jerome are looking like, because Louie wants to know, but now he's like, but now it's F Kane and F your nephew too. Tight. Hurt that little Todd's feelings. They did. Leon and Wanda, they're sitting in the project and they talk about Wanda's day and her helping out in the shelter. Meanwhile, Kane is across the way talking cash-ish about how he used to run up in Wanda and all this. I'm surprised that Leon was able to hold his cool. She was like, hold his face. Poor Leon and poor Wanda. Just disrespectful. And Wanda, she's making a difference and you can tell she likes what she's doing. And Leon, he says that he wanted to come back and he thought it'd be right, but everything that he thought it was going to be, he doesn't recognize the place, and he's kind of wondering what he came for. And I know Wanda wants to tell him, I told you so. So we see Teddy and he's talking to Gustavo and he tells them that they might have been followed. And basically, if you see something, say something. So Teddy's telling him that he basically handled his business when he was in Costa Rica with the Berettas. And Gustavo's like, yeah, I learned it from the CIA. And when Gustavo goes to leave and get his car, Teddy's standing there. And Teddy's got that look of suspicion and paranoia. When Gustavo gets home, his lady is there. She's asking, where were you? Never mind, get out. And I said, when did she come back? Because last time that Gustavo was home and he found the picture of Ruben on the refrigerator from the wedding, she wasn't there. But anyway, she's back now. She's throwing him out. So Gustavo winds up at the bar. So he's drowning his sorrows over some drinks when Ruben pulls up. And Ruben, at first, he's making small talk, and he's making jokes, and he's talking about, a bouquet of flowers and child, how a bouquet of flowers is basically going to fix things. Finally, all of a sudden, he says he's not talking about the girl. He's talking about the CIA and the DEA. He says he's there to help. And he says, you may have met me before. I look a little different, like, basically serving you some champagne. And he's telling him that he's in trouble, but he has the resources to get him out clean. He wants to prove that the CIA is trafficking. And then he tells Gustavo that Teddy is no longer CIA and that he's been lying to him for years. He says, you have no protection. America doesn't care, and neither does he. It's a simple transaction. Get Teddy and his boss at the warehouse with the product, and freedom is yours. You have 24 hours to decide. Not 24 hours to decide. So now when Ruben leaves, who do we see watching? Teddy. Teddy's watching. Teddy gets a picture, and everybody has a picture of everybody, child. We get a quick scene of Leon paying somebody to fix the lights at the playground while V and her mom are going to see, looks like, Teddy's dad. Then we see Tony. He's telling Gustavo that they're going to raid the warehouse tomorrow. Now, ain't going to be nothing in that warehouse when they get there. Just my thoughts. He says it's almost over, and when news of the raid hits the paper, that the CIA will have a bigger problem than him. He needs Teddy, the cash, and the product all in one location, and he tells Gustavo to sober up. So Franklin, he checks in with Kane, and he's going over what's going on with the cookhouse and that they're going to have another one. They'll get another one up soon. And Kane calls him out on putting hands on his homeboy. He tells him that his people had his back, but Franklin is not his friend. Franklin says that his people are basically taking advantage of him now that he's hurt, and he's not going to have anyone F with his money. Kane is telling him, but don't ever lay a hand on my people. And while these two are going back and forth, it starts to be some shooting. They got to get low and they're trying to get out of there. And while they're like in the kitchen, they notice that Todd, who just got his face burned, is one of the shooters. So bye-bye, Todd. There's a few other guys there and they're taking them out, and Kane is barely, moving, but Kane and Franklin, they get out the house, they get in the car, and they take off to safety. So we come to our end scene and the big Debo situation of the episode. Wanda and Leon, they're helping Einstein with his college essay, and he's just not into it when they hear Big D shooting out the lights on the playground. So Leon comes outside because he's not trying to have it, and it's about to go down. So now Leon, he got in a couple of hits before Big D got him down. He's on him and Wanda's screaming. Einstein's trying to hold him back. Like I said, it's a real Debo and Craig moment. Come on, Lee. Get up, Lee. Come on, Lee. I was rooting for Leon too, y'all. Deon screaming about how Leon left the people starving, and Leon gets D in them nuts. He hits him over the head with the bottle, and he gets a couple of hits on him. This my shit. And Wanda and Einstein, they get Leon and they get him out of there. And that is where the episode ends. How did you guys like the episode? Now, leaving Big D alive is not going to be a good idea because he's coming back. And I want to see Leon alive, although I don't think he's going to make it through the season. I would really just love, in my optimistic world, like this is not a drug show, for Leon and Wanda to get back on the plane. Hell, take Sissy and Einstein with you, but oof, it's too much. Franklin is losing it. V and his mom are for sure going to steal that man's money, in my opinion. And those are just a few of my thoughts, y'all. Drop down in the comments and leave your thoughts and your theories, or just let me stop by and join me back here for episode 5. Peace.